My city, it is Big Mike, 98.5 KYGO, and I cannot tell you how excited I am to have this guy sitting here right here as we get ready for AEW to return to Colorado. Everybody, I'd like to welcome Brian Danielson. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
I'm going to tell you, we had Tony Khan on yesterday. I'm going to say pretty much the exact same thing I said to him, and that's thank you. You know, as a lifelong wrestling fan, you know, I've been there when there's a couple options. I've been there when there's one option. And, like, you're a huge reason that there is the great option known as AEW. So thank you for, you know, helping bring that to the Maya City.
Yeah, it's a real pleasure. You know, I existed most of my career. There's only been one major wrestling company here in the United States. And having AEW here is a real blessing, not only for us the wrestlers, but for the fans, like for everybody. I mean, the number of people who have jobs because of AEW, you know, it's fantastic. And so it also gives wrestling fans something completely different. I mean, as a wrestling fan, I like the wrestling part of wrestling as opposed to like the sports entertainment-y stories or whatever it is, you know. I spilled a coffee on your shirt, and so now we're going to fight. Those sorts of things. I like the more the wrestling aspect of it, and that's what AEW brings. It's a different vision of professional wrestling.
And there's so much story you're telling in there, in the ring.
Yes,
even though it's
100%.
with moves. I mean, you know, and that's the great thing about AEW is, like, you obviously have a group of wrestlers there, if you can at least, like, maybe starting with Dynamite when it got TV, but so many great wrestlers have joined. And I mean, I'm sure that's because you saw the product they were putting on. You saw what kind of moves they were making, and you made a decision. AEW is where we're going to go, and you've been a big champion of them ever since you've joined.
Yeah. I've really enjoyed working with AEW and Tony Khan. And, you know, one of the reasons why I switched from WWE to AEW is because I enjoyed their style of wrestling so much. Like, that's when I wanted to become a wrestler, that's the style of wrestling that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah. So I saw what they were doing while I was in WWE. I was watching it and be like, I want to be doing that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, this Wednesday, it's coming back to Colorado up in Loveland at Blue FCU Arena. AEW, it's actually two shows. It's AEW Dynamite and also Rampage. So you get 2 for 1. You might as well get your tickets right now. I've seen a lot of my friends posting there. I believe MJF is making his return this week. I mean, he was gone for a while. Obviously, one of the controversial stars of your company, a former world champion. You being obviously a big proponent of AEW, what are your thoughts on him making his return?
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad he's with the company. You know what I mean? There was a big thing. His contract was up this year, and he could have gone to WWE. He could have stayed with AEW.
And he was kind of making it sound like he already had his mind made up. Like, he seemed like he was convinced where he was going.
He wants to go wherever he's going to make the most money, as many people do, right? But yeah, so he's going to be. It's his first Dynamite in all of 2024 tomorrow night. So yeah, so that's going to be good. We've got Swerve Strickland defending the AEW World Championship against Roderick Strong, and we've got Saraya against Mariah May too tomorrow. It should be a great show.
And you look at those champions. I was talking to Tony about. I mean, just look at the champions by itself. You got Swerve, Mercedes now. Such a stat lineup. Ospreay right there. I mean, you had an epic match with him recently, and I mean that's just the champions. And then you look at all the challenges. Like, I mean, when you look back to the first Dynamite and you look today, almost 5 years later. Did he envision seeing all these champions here for you, you know, joining when you joined, and just from the last several years you've been there, like, what does it feel like to see all these champions with such high regard, and also just the challenges that are on the way up?
So I think, you know, that's kind of what I envisioned. I kind of did envision that a lot of the free agents would start making their way towards AEW, right? You know, like I didn't know. I didn't think somebody like Mercedes would come over. You know what I mean? Which is a huge. I mean, she's one of the best women's wrestlers in the world. You know what I mean? But it's also like people like Will Ospreay and Okada, right? These international stars who have made their names. You know, because there was a bidding war for all 3 of those people, and we got them, and so it's fantastic. Now the Will Ospreay thing, I've got a bit of a gripe there.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit of a gripe. My neck still hasn't recovered. I wrestled him in April at our Dynasty pay-per-view, and my neck still isn't doing great from that match. So
I mean, you're a group of guys who were told you're done, you know, because of injuries, and you came back. And I mean, you've been back for years. And the thing is, like, when I watch you in a match, I'm not watching a guy that's looking to, like, Protect you. You're going in. I mean, somebody's chest is going to be chopped up. Somebody's going to be stretched out. Somebody's flying off of something. And I mean, you still every single match give it all. And I'm like, how are you feeling? How are you feeling right now?
So right now, I actually, sitting here with you, I feel good. Right?
It's because I'm sitting here, though,
yes,
right?
Yeah. It's because of you, And so, like I've had some neck problems recently, and it was really interesting because my last match was the Anarchy in the Arena match that we did at our last pay-per-view, which was a couple weeks ago, and I started getting kind of this double vision in the match, and we were concerned a little bit that I may have gotten a concussion, and I was like, oh no. But they went back, they evaluated me, did all these tests, all this kind of stuff, and it turns out there was no concussion whatsoever, which I have a history of concussions. It was because of my neck issues was causing the dizziness and the blurry vision and that sort of thing. So it's like, I'm in the process of, trying to make sure my neck is okay, that sort of thing. I'm hoping to be cleared tomorrow. And so that I can wrestle because I love wrestling still, 25 years in, and one of my favorite things to do is to go out there and just bang. You know what I mean?
I'm not gonna lie. I'm excited MJF's gonna be there. I'm excited that Swerve's gonna be performing. If we added you to the lineup, I'm just saying, Loveland would be very excited.
Yeah,
because you've been vocal, like you said, like you don't know how much longer you'll do this.
Yeah, this is my last year as a full-time wrestler for sure. I've promised my daughter, and my contract is up this year, and so it's time for me. You know what I mean? As far as like my body, all that kind of stuff, and just where I'm at in my life. There's things I don't want to miss out on the part of my kids' lives where they still want me to be there. Right? My daughter's 7. In 7 years, when she's 14, is she going to want her dad around? Absolutely not, right?
Take advantage now.
Where she's at right now, she wants me there every day. Yeah. And when I'm gone, even for this trip, I'll be gone 3 days. But before that, I was gone for 9 days. And then before that, I was gone for 12 days. And so it's like those kind of trips, it's hard on her. And she wants her daddy around, And our son, who knows if he'll ever want me around? He just wants to fight me. That's all he wants. So.
Well, selfishly, I'm sure everybody wants you around forever. But I mean, obviously, you got to think about your body. The only thing I will say, I know that there's a lot of work that goes into it, and if this is your last year, I look earlier this year, like Sting was able to me get like a good proper stance, because he had a setup, but this was like the proper way. I really hope one thing I've always wished since day one you got in is that you become world champion in AEW, and I hope maybe one way or another before the end of the year you make that happen. That's just as a fan, I'd be excited to see that, man.
Yeah. Well, that was kind of my goal when I came into AEW is to come into AEW and be AEW world champion. I haven't had the best of luck.
You've had some great matches.
I've had some great matches.
There, so well,
when it comes to winning the big one, I've had a couple opportunities, but haven't quite gotten there. So maybe before I'm done.
Well, in the meantime, at least I'm going to say, yes, please. Yes, please. Yes, please. Well, thank you so much. This Wednesday, it is going on. Loveland, Colorado, Denver. It's a quick ride up the road. You definitely want to check out AEW, whether it's the first time or you've been watching since day one. Get your tickets right now. Brian Danielson, I'm crossing my fingers that maybe you're cleared and maybe you throw it in. But either way, I'm glad you just made time for me, just selfishly, just sitting here getting to chop it up with you, man.
Yep. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.